Hi, everyone. About once a quarter, I feel the need to socialize my mission and the value that I can bring to other leaders in my network. And as many of you already know, I am quite passionate about building a better world for tomorrow through adopting more sustainable business practices and behaviors today. I feel the way that I can directly contribute to this major goal of mine is through working with individuals and leaders to help them influence the world, right, while helping them achieve their personal and professional goals along the way. And many of these people that I've been working with, have worked in sustainability for years. Others are new to the space. Some just firmly believe in a more sustainable future. So put simply, the work that I've been doing at CSO Broker, I've been building thought leaders across sustainability, because in order to re-engineer this system that has propped up our world, we are going to need to influence people with our ideas, right? And we need those ideas to be able to be effectively communicated and articulated in a way that is palatable and actionable. I started this work back in 2020, right, in the midst of COVID, because I saw firsthand how underprepared people were to develop meaningful relationships in a more digital landscape. And originally, I just wanted to help people be seen as recognized leaders to help them find another job. And what I realized was that people are using this advice to start their own consulting company, to secure a seat on a board of directors, to establish partnerships to help their company achieve internal targets, start nonprofits, attract revenue to their company. The list really does go on and on. So it got me thinking, like, why was this advice so effective in helping these people to achieve their goals? We're in the middle of a pretty massive transition, right? Which makes your personal brand potentially the most valuable asset that you own today. All has to do with the way that trust is built, because trust is the social currency that you need in order to engage in meaningful conversations in any aspect of your life. So I found that 30% of people don't trust company brands. And in the same breath, trusted companies are outperforming their peers by 400%. By the fact that people are 3 times more likely to trust information that is shared with them from another human being. Building a personal brand will directly benefit you and your current employer, because trust is absolutely contagious. Companies are bending over backwards to try to capitalize on this trend. What you'll find is that trust is more effectively curated and built at the personal level, because people buy from people, not companies. And when I say buy, remember, this doesn't have to be in the form of a financial transaction. Think buy what you're saying. So the question that we need to ask ourselves is, how do we build trust? Well, we need to influence people. People are more likely to trust someone that has influenced them. And in order to influence someone, we need to be able to reinforce or alter the way that they feel, right? The way that they act, the way that they think. So now the real question is, how can I amplify my personal brand to influence people so that they view me as a recognized leader within sustainability, right? So I can fast track the time that it takes for me to reach my personal and professional goals. Really comes down to achieving 3 foundational components. The first one being moving you from a LinkedIn laggard to ultimately getting your profile and your social media to operating in a state of organic attraction, where you are organically attracting your ICP to your profile. Right? ICP being ideal connection profile. The second foundational component here is moving you from having somewhat of a stagnant network to intentionally growing your network while receiving value along the way. The third foundational component is going from someone without a plan to really automating a lot of this execution, right? So when we think about the first foundational component, it's really centric around branding, right? And that really starts with an exercise in introspection, where you sit down, just you and a piece of paper, and you start to think about 3 core strengths or skills that you have developed over the course of your career. I wouldn't choose characteristics, as that will come across in just the way at which you interact with the world. Try to make these 3 hard skills, and then think about your experiences and the outcomes that you've delivered, the industries that you've worked in, because somewhere in the nexus of those strengths and those skills, right, lies a problem. And that problem you are uniquely positioned to solve. Reframing that problem into a solution statement or a unique value proposition, because it's important that we come prepared with solutions rather than just pointing out problems. Make sure that we can reframe this unique value proposition to align with a problem or a challenge that your ICP that you have defined is struggling with right now. The third initiator here that I'll talk about is just making sure that you are naturally passionate about this specific unique value proposition and problem in order to adopt the socially accepted characteristics of a recognized leader. You truly need to be naturally passionate about the message and the narrative that you're putting forth into the world. Now, what we'll use your unique value proposition for is actually developing a framework of your own, right? You could use this model, you could use a chevron, you could use an alternative diagram, but we are going to put your unique value proposition right in the center, right? If you think about your problem and the associated value proposition hard enough, you can probably think of 3 foundational components that your ICP can use to solve that problem or to solve that challenge. You can also, once you've thought of 3 foundational components, you can think of 3 initiators or pieces of advice that your ICP can use to achieve that foundational component. You're starting to see that you'll have a framework built out in no time, and we can use this framework as a map for a series of high quality posts that you can socialize consistently throughout the year that will act as the vehicle which props up your brand. If you think about the best advertising campaigns in the world, they didn't just run for one season. The Geico lizard has been on our screen for years, trying to save us money on insurance. It's the same concept here. High quality content should be recirculated to reinforce the problem that you're solving. That way, when people think or experience a challenge, you are the person that they are drawn to. When it comes to networking, I think we've all gone to networking events and we've all had digital meetings where it was not fruitful. In fact, it was a complete waste of time. So what we need to do is take a value-centric approach to our networking, right? And the best, most effective way to do this is through doing a very similar exercise as we did for branding, but we're sitting down and we're defining what are our deficiencies, right? What are the top 2 to 3 topical areas of interest that I need to learn about in the next couple of years in order to reach my goals? These could be hard skills. These could be topical areas, but let's write down 3 of them. And then we are going to use those 3 skills to intentionally connect with people on LinkedIn. We are taking a value-centric approach to networking. We're reaching out to individuals who have these skills that we're intentionally trying to develop for the purpose of actively learning from them. These conversations, you will take away value because you would have learned something. It's also a really good opportunity for you to socialize the value that you can bring to the table through talking through a framework of your own. One of a few outcomes that happen off the back of this conversation. One, a relationship is developed because they taught you something. And there is a unique psychological relationship that takes place when somebody does teach you something, giving you a deeper, more intimate relationship with that individual. The second outcome is that once you've had a chance to talk through your framework, it uniquely resonates with them. Right now we have somebody who has taught us something, and our solution or problem that we're trying to solve uniquely resonates with them. These are what I call allies, and these people can quite literally change the course of your life. Because that intimate relationship is there, you then have the social capital to engage in a meaningful business conversation and actually ask for their help, and they will help. Now, I'm willing to bet everybody is thinking about how much time this can take. I'll be honest with you. The hardest part is figuring out what you want your unique value proposition to be. There are a lot of really awesome technology products out there today that can help automate a lot of this work as well. So it's a matter of setting it up one time, doing the hard work up front, and then benefiting off of that automation. Over the course of the next several weeks, I will go into more granular detail on each topic on this framework, as well as share why this works. And it is deeply rooted in human nature and practical psychology. If you made it this far, like the video, share it with your friends, because you never know who needs to see this message.